did some training sessions now with us, but he's still in a very individual program, so no double sessions on the pitch. He trains with a team, but of course, as you can imagine, there are players who are like in the third week of preparation, with a completely different level of foundation, physical foundation, and that is not a good match for him to straight start with a team and straight away play. I don't want to rule it out completely, but it's very likely that he maybe will not play tomorrow. We will not see him on the pitch tomorrow, and I'm happy because he's a calm guy, and you can see his quality on the pitch, his leadership. He has a certain personality that you feel when he's there, and this is good for us.
Kyle Bond.
Thank you, Thomas, for your time. I appreciate you doing this. Your squad already boasts a wealth of attacking talent. You added another top international player this window, Raheem Sterling. Between him, the likes of Ziyech, Mount, Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, I mean, it goes on down the line. There's only so many minutes to go around. Do you feel like there's a good balance of players right now, or do you think it might be hard to keep everyone on the field?
It's a bit easier this season because we have 5 changes, and it's very likely that we will use most of the changes for offensive players, because they are the positions where you normally can have a huge impact and where the intensity is very high. So normally you don't change so much in the back of your defense or in central midfield. So I think this can play a huge role in giving minutes. On the other hand, of course, we are like also keen to find a more or less a starting lineup and a mixture that is good together and provides goals and assists and danger for the opponent. So it's a mix between both of it. In the moment, we have a lot of offensive players, and we need to try to find spaces, and we need to try to find positions and the role, because everybody needs a role to feel confident and that the players can be the best versions of themselves.
Varun Shankar.
Hi, so Charlotte is obviously in an interesting position where they're playing you guys in an exhibition game in the middle of their actual season. As a coach, how would you manage wanting to, try? How would you manage approaching a game like this?
Me in the shoes of the Charlotte coach, or me as me?
I mean, if Chelsea was in a similar position, how would you handle it?
I think given the fact that it's maybe not so often that they play against European teams and big European teams. So I think that the players, the team, the coach, and the whole club, they want to show their best face and the best mentality and their best performance. So I'm very sure that they will prepare in a very serious way and will not see it as a friendly match. That's my suggestion, and that's how I would handle it. But in pre-season, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. Maybe Charlotte gives players a chance who are like now a little bit in the shade, or try to make an impression for their league campaign. I simply don't know it. That's why we can of course discuss about it, but in the end, in pre-season is 99% about your own team and about your own development and about building and finding your own form, and that's where the focus will be.
Matt Law.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Obviously, we heard yesterday that the 4 lads have left the squad. Amando's gone home, and 2 of them have gone to the under-23s. I just wanted to ask you 2 questions on that. On Armando, do you expect him to leave the club? We know that West Ham have made a bid for him. And then on the others, what was the thought process between letting those guys leave the squad, whereas players maybe not with a long-term future at Chelsea, Michy Batshuayi, Ross Barkley, Kennedy, they've stayed with the squad?
Yeah, but we know also, we know the players very well. We know Tino Anjorin pretty well. We know Billy Gilmore pretty well. Harvey Vale, we know because he trained with us last season. Armando was injured. I don't expect Armando to leave. We are aware of offers and we are aware of interest. that just tells us that there is a lot of potential. And we will take this decision together with the owners and me, and in the end also with the player. And right now, he was like, when he arrived, for me it was clear that he's trying to impress and he's trying to become a Chelsea player as soon as possible. After his loan in Southampton, the situation was very clear to make the next step, to show his improvement, to make an impression in pre-season. Unfortunately, he injured himself. And of course, there's a lot of noise going on because there are offers and there is interest in him. So let's see how this goes. But I'm pretty calm about it because we know the situation and we have a contract, and from there we go. The decisions we took, I didn't like them, to be honest, because all of the players deserve to stay here. All of the players deserve to stay here. Also, the players who stayed deserve to stay here because, like the three guys you mentioned, are doing fantastic in training and are heavily involved and like physically came totally fit. Ross was an example in every training session so far and got a little injury now. This is a bit of a setback. But these are the decisions to take, and Billy Gilmore we know very well. Tino Anjorin, we struggle to find a bit the role where he should play for us. But I'm a big fan of Tino, so and Harvey the same. They know that I had the talk with them. They know I didn't like to send them away, but the group was simply too big to continue like this. And then we had the chance to not send them home straight away, but to keep them in America and to let them train and play, give them playing time with the under 23. So this was the decision. And I promised them once we are back in London, we will have this talk individually and see what's best for them. And maybe then we do when we have a clearer view on our team and on whom we trust and whom we build the group around, then we do maybe the swap that you suggested.
Michael Bridge.
Hi, Thomas. Yes, I was going to ask about Breuer, but I'll make it more generic now in terms of your squad, about players coming home. Will you make more of a decision group-wise with your squad when, as the weeks go on, maybe more incomings and potentially more outgoings as well? Breuer being an example, because you might be a little light up front if he goes.
Yes and no. I think we have a lot of options, but maybe not the type of player that Armando is. And still we have always, like also last season with him and last season with Connor, we always have to weigh up our interest and the players' interest and what's good for the club. So can we offer and we can play, we can talk about it very in a general way. The question is, what is good for the players? Do we have a role or don't we have a role? Is there a prospect of getting minutes, or is there no prospect of getting minutes? Because if there isn't, I think like players like Armando, who already played Premier League, is not enough if they only train with the group. Sometimes for very young players, like for Harvey Whale, it can be like in the transition of youth football and Premier League football, it can be okay for a year where you like where you just adapt to the intensity, physicality and speed in training. But at some point you need games. And I think like for Armando and players who already played in Premier League, we have to look at the situation very, very carefully, individually, and decide if we have the minutes that we can offer, that he continues to grow in his development, or if it's better to bring him into another loan to give him match minutes.
It looks like your new signings have really settled in quickly, Thomas. Is that a good idea, like just to bring in players, your new players, as quickly as possible? I know it's not easy sometimes, but do you have a figure in mind how many more you would like to bring in?
Yeah, I have a figure. I think we need a couple more players in to improve the squad. I mean, we have been third last season. We can now discuss endlessly about the reasons, but there was a gap between us and Manchester City and Liverpool. And in general, if you want to keep your position, if you want to fight about the same position, you need to improve. You can never stand still. If you stand still, other teams will overtake you. So given the situation that we even lost players, it's for me common sense that we need to bring new quality to the team to maintain our level, and not even speaking about like improving our level. So this is the situation where we are right now. It's always the dream of every manager, I think, that you find players maybe within their own league and who can adapt maybe quicker than other players, but it's also a very individual process. Of course, we see that Raheem knows many players from national team, and he is very, very familiar with the habits in English clubs, of course. So this is very nice to see. And for Kalidou, I think it's a big help that we have some French guys, that we have Edu, his teammate in national team, and of course Shorshi, who is a big help from Napoli to make the process of integration faster, because this is huge, and both of them should be huge players for us, and that's why we need to speed things up.
Last question for Thomas before Christian Pulisic joins us. Adam Newsom.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Following on from Matt's point, really, obviously someone like Levi Colwill isn't someone we've seen yet at the weekend because he was injured. Is he now fit? And do you see him as a young player being ready to play for Chelsea this season if needed? And is Raheem ready to go tomorrow?
To start from the back, Raheem is absolutely ready to go tomorrow. He will be on the pitch tomorrow, and we are happy about that. And he is excited to play his first match. And with Levi, it's too early to give an answer. Everything I would say now, I maybe have to take back or give you another opinion in some weeks. I haven't seen enough of him in our group, because unfortunately he got a little bit of injury and was out of training for now several days. And once you're out for several days in pre-season, it takes a while to catch up again, especially for players who are not used to train on that kind of level, like Levi. The fact that he's still here is very easy. We don't know him enough, so he needs to stay here. We need to have further impressions. We need to have more impressions of him to give a better outlook on the situation. He had a good spell on loan, and then we need to think carefully at the end of pre-season what's best for him. But I can only repeat, like what Trevor Chalobah did last season, and Malang Sarr. Everybody is invited to do the same, and this is the same situation for Levi.